time that I seen him while I was pregnant with her. And I maced him.
You maced him?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
I was mad. I was pregnant. I'm out here by myself struggling. Didn't have any gas in my car.
Caleb don't need you in his life.
You're saying she didn't even inform you that she was pregnant.
She told me in the beginning.
But then when is this time you had to pop up at the house?
This was after the baby was born.
Okay, when you found out you were pregnant, did you say to him, I'm pregnant?
No, his sister already told him.
She went to the family and told him that she was pregnant. He gave her money to have an abortion, and she did away the money however she see fit.
So, here we go. The episode kicks off with the announcer booming out the case title Hubbard versus Watson. Junior Jerome, the ever-ready court clerk, gets a nod for his presence. Buckle up, folks, because the courtroom drama is just getting fired up.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Hubbard versus Watson Jr.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Hubbard, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove to Mr. Watson Jr. that he is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Amiria Hubbard.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hubbard steps up to the plate, demanding a DNA test to prove Mr. Watson Jr. is the biological dad of her adorable 2-year-old Amiria. She's not just here for the drama, she's also hitting up Mr. Watson for a cool $1,250 in childcare expenses. Let's see how Mr. Watson handles this curveball.
2 years worth of childcare expenses in the amount of $2,150.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Watson, you say you know you are not father of Ms. Hubbard's daughter because she lied to you about her entire pregnancy and only now wants to claim you as the father. Did you lie about your pregnancy?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Hubbard isn't backing down. No way, no how. She insists Mr. Watson knew all about the pregnancy from day one. She recounts the lonely hospital visit and Mr. Watson's ghosting act on the financial front. But folks, wait until you hear the juicy details she spills next.
When I conceived, when the last time we did have sex with each other, and that was in February of 2012, and I had her in November of 2012, and he knew about her whole pregnancy. He didn't come around when I was in the hospital with her. That's the only time he was around.
So if you say he knew about her, has he been helping you? You're suing for $2,150 because you say he has not contributed.
He hasn't contributed to anything. He hasn't done anything for her.
You're not ready for this. In a plot twist worthy of a telenovela, Ms. Hubbard reveals she maced Mr. Watson for bailing on gas money while she was pregnant. The audience can't help but chuckle at this spicy retaliation. You think that was wild? Just wait for what's coming.
Time that I seen him while I was pregnant with her, and I maced him.
You maced him?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
I was mad. I was pregnant. I'm out here by myself struggling. Didn't have any gas in my car. And he asked me to take him somewhere. I took him, and he got out the car. He was laughing. I ain't gonna give you no gas, man. I ain't got nothing for you. So when he went in the store, he came back out.
Things are heating up. Judge Lake weighs in, clearly worried about the meeking incident. She acknowledges Ms. Hubbard's desperate situation and the overwhelming stress she was under. Hold tight because the courtroom's about to turn up the heat.
You know, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Although, listen, what you're saying is you're so desperate for money and you're feeling so overwhelmed that when he said he wasn't going to give you the gas money he said, that just upset you so much that...
It wasn't even about that. He played the whole game like he wanted to be there with me while I was pregnant with her. He played the whole game the whole time I knew him.
Oh boy, here we go. Mr. Watson sticks to his guns, adamant that he hasn't spent a dime on Amiria because he's convinced he's not the father. His steadfast denial raises the stakes. But get ready, because Ms. Hubbard's comeback is a doozy.
Oh, ma'am, I haven't done anything for the child.
You admit you've done nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is that, sir?
Because I don't think this is my baby. But she lied.
But your family,
You had sex
but
with
your
her, right?
family members
Right, but she
Did
lied.
you use protection?
No, ma'am. But this was way before.
And his family members
She lied about her
accepted
dates that she was
his
pregnant.
family members
She told me
accept
she was 3 months pregnant 2 times.
And I told you.
All right, let me understand that, because you're saying you don't believe it's your child because there's an issue
With
that you
dates.
don't trust concerning the conception period?
Right.
Twist alert. Mr. Watson pulls out a calendar to showcase alleged inconsistencies in Ms. Hubbard's pregnancy timeline. He's trying to math his way out of fatherhood, folks. The suspense builds as they try to untangle this timeline tangle.
I got
She was
pregnant
It was
February
in August.
14th,
It was in August when
2012.
she
I
called.
Okay,
had her.
one at a time.
And I had her
I'm gonna give you both a chance. Let him explain to me what his calendar outlines, Ms. Hubbard, and then I will give you a chance to respond. On this calendar, you say she told you she was 3 months pregnant
Right.
in August.
Right.
And then you say in October, she told you she was 3 months pregnant again?
Again, yes.
And just when you thought it couldn't get more bizarre, the convo shifts to an ultrasound debate, with Mr. Watson arguing that the baby pics don't line up with the pregnancy timeline Ms. Hubbard claimed. Fasten your seatbelts because we're diving deep into the drama.
I believe it was somebody else ultrasound.
I was four and a half months pregnant on that picture, and that's when they zoom in to see how your baby growing and maturing and see if you at your right stage. That's her when I was 4.5 months pregnant.
But she showed me that ultrasound
You feel like she was lying.
the whole time.
And her motive to lie is what?
Cause she wanted to have a baby by me.
You gotta see this to believe it. Mr. Watson introduces a diary he found, suggesting Ms. Hubbard was playing the field during the alleged conception period. The diary is stuffed with old condom wrappers. Talk about keeping mementos. But folks, the revelations just keep on coming.
You found a diary and you created
I was
it?
nice when I had the diary.
It's I was at her house one day.
You know how
No, hand me that. What is that? It's a diary.
Right, and she too old to have a diary. Okay,
They
so
let you know.
So this is a diary that you found?
I was in her room one day. You know, she was in the shower,
And
the
when
diary was on her dresser.
Grab your tissues. This part's a tearjerker. Ms. Hubbard shares the struggles of juggling childcare for 5 kids and caring for her disabled mom, all on her lonesome. The judge's empathy shines as she calls for resolution. We're nearing the grand finale, and it's going to be monumental.
And he still asked me to come. He still asked me to bring her to him. He still wants
that's a lie.
He been watching her. He watches her. He been watching her since she's been born, like probably about 5 or 6 times. She done even spent the night over there with him.
so
Why are
crazy.
you asking me to bring her to you? Why are you keeping her? Why are you spending time with her?
You say you keep the baby because you feel sorry for the baby or for Miss Hubbard?
Miss Hubbard.
You ain't gotta feel she's
Cause she
straight.
constantly crying to my this your
It don't
baby,
matter.
this your
You don't
baby
have to-
for a DNA test.
You asked for a DNA test.
Drum roll, please. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
Mr. Watson, you are Amiria's father.
Deadbeat. Like I told you. Right.
Sorry.
All right, buckle up, folks. The courtroom drama is just getting started. The judge walks in and is promptly greeted, setting the stage for the Sanders versus Brady showdown. Grab your popcorn. This is going to be good.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Sanders versus Brady.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Miss Sanders, you admit to having another man sign your 6-month-old son Caleb's birth certificate, but now say that Caleb's real biological father.
So here's the scoop. Ms. Sanders drops a bombshell right out of the gate, confessing that another guy signed her son Caleb's birth certificate. But plot twist, she now claims that the real dad is Mr. Jamarvis Brady. She's all in, petitioning the court for a DNA test to clear the air. Let's see how Mr. Brady wiggles out of this one.
Mr. Jamarvis Brady.
Yes, Sean.
You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Brady is your son's father. Mr. Brady, you claim it is genetically impossible that you are Caleb's father, and therefore the plaintiff needs to get her child expenses from her son's real daddy.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Hold on to your hats, because Mr. Brady is throwing genetics into the mix. He argues it's genetically impossible for him to be the father, thanks to Caleb's green eyes, a rare family trait. He's not about to play daddy to someone else's kid without proof. The plot thickens.
What has Mr. Brady done exactly for baby Caleb since his birth?
He has not done anything, Your Honor. I had to get Caleb baby food. I had to get him diapers, clothes, everything.
Your
And
Honor, I admit
that
to
is
pride.
not cheap.
Next up, the judge dives in, pressing Ms. Sanders about what exactly Mr. Brady has done for baby Caleb since he was born. Spoiler alert, zilch, nada, nothing. She's been flying solo on this baby adventure, folks. Let's find out if Mr. Brady has a good excuse up his sleeve.
I came through the neighborhood one
It's a
day,
reason why I
and he
don't visit.
asked me if he could see
Why
my
would I
baby.
take a baby that's not mine? Why would I visit a baby that's not mine? I
Look
tried
how
to
pretty
visit
my
the
baby is. How
once.
can you deny a pretty baby?
I don't care about the baby being pretty. I care about if the baby mine or not.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more dramatic, Mr. Brady is all about those green eyes again, claiming no one in his lineage sports them. He's adamant that Caleb's eye color is a genetic gatecrasher, making it impossible for him to be the dad. Eyes on the screen, everyone. Ms. Sanders is not buying it.
The first thing is the green eyes. No one in my family has green eyes. May I show you, Your Honor? Starting with my grandparents. My grandma don't have green eyes. My granddaddy don't got green eyes. My mama or my daddy. Her either, obviously. I definitely don't have green eyes. I'm trying to figure out where these green eyes come from that's on this baby. Because it ain't my family.
In a twist you didn't see coming, Mr. Brady spills the beans that he didn't even get the baby news from Ms. Sanders herself. It was through a friend who saw it on Facebook. Talk about modern problems. This revelation opens a can of worms about their rocky communication. Stay tuned to see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Because it's constant stuff coming up with Karen, like all the time. Like
What do you mean? Explain.
When I first came and found out about the baby, I didn't find out but through Catherine. I found out through a friend who seen it on Facebook. I popped up at the house. I ain't called, I ain't text, none of that. I just popped up. And when she finally came to the door, she said, Caleb don't need you in his life.
You're saying she didn't even inform you that she was pregnant.
She told me in the beginning.
But then when is this time you had to pop up at the house?
This was after the baby was born.
Okay.
Grab your tissues. Mrs. Sanders recounts a heart-wrenching story of her difficult pregnancy with baby Caleb facing some scary health scares. Through all the ups and downs, Mr. Brady was MIA. This story's getting as heavy as my aunt's fruitcake at Christmas.
She was at all of her appointments on time.
Did he go to appointments with you?
No,
in the
ma'am,
beginning?
not at all. And I had a very rough pregnancy. My son, while I was pregnant, he had a cyst on his brain, and the whole time they were saying that, you know, if the cyst don't disappear, that he could possibly have Down syndrome. Even when I had him and pushed him out, he was still going through a lot. His heart rate jumped from like 140 down to 70. I pushed him out in about 4 minutes. My water broke at 9:56. He was born at 10 on the dot. Mr. Brady was never there.
And just when you thought this paternity roller coaster couldn't add another loop, it's revealed that yet another man initially signed the birth certificate, but a DNA test ruled him out as the father. Mrs. Sanders is sticking to her story that Mr. Brady is the only other option. Fasten your seatbelts, we're heading into verdict territory.
Tested another man.
Yes.
You found out that he was not the father.
Yes.
And after you got that conclusion, you knew that at this point, Mr. Brady was the only other option?
Yes.
And you're positive that he was the only other option?
Yes.
If she was sure that the baby's mine, how she let him sign the birth certificate instead of telling me out the dribble? Like,
I've been told him that I was pregnant. He never cared.
Let me see the birth certificate, sir.
Drum roll, please. The DNA results are finally read. And guess what?
Mr. Brady, you are not.
I told her that was my baby, Your Honor.
Sit down.
I told her.
Sit down over there. Stand right where you stand.
I told her, Your Honor. I knew it was mine. 100% positive.
Can you believe we're just getting started? Judge Lake swings into action as Ms. Richardson steps up, all business and drama. She's claiming Ms. Russell's little girl, Eliza, isn't her late husband's kiddo, despite Ms. Russell chasing those Social Security benefits. Grab your popcorn because this is only the opening act.
Ms. Richardson, you have summoned the defendant, Ms. Russell, to court to prove that her 3-year-old daughter, Eliza, was not fathered by your husband, Mr. Richardson, who recently passed away. You're joined today by his mother.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Here's where it gets juicy. Ms. Richardson spills the tea about her doubts concerning Eliza's paternity. Picture this. Her husband, on his deathbed, repeatedly denies being the father right up until his last breath. Oh boy, buckle up because the roller coaster is just taking off.
At my husband's deathbed, I had asked him, did he want to see his child? He said, that's not my child. So he kept telling me all the way until he took his last breath that she was not his child.
If he did feel it was a possibility it was his child, would have told you.
Yes, Your Honor.
They say there's no way Mr. Richardson is the father of your child, but you disagree.
Your Honor, first of all, I know who I was sleeping with. I'm not that type of person, never have been.
Plot twist incoming. Ms. Russell fires back, defending her corner like a champ. She claims she was clueless about Mr. Richardson being married when their romance kicked off. Turns out she found out about his wife's situation in quite the awkward chat. Talk about drama. And guess what? There's more where that came from.
Even though you were aware he was a married man.
I wasn't aware of that, Your Honor. I wasn't told about a wife until I was with the mom one day, and I told her that he had asked me to marry him in a text. She said, I don't know how he gonna ask you to marry him when he already married. When I asked Bert about it.
Got that right, you knew.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Ms. Russell lays down the backstory of her whirlwind romance with Mr. Richardson, complete with financial woes and dreams of cohabitation. But plot thickens. He cools off when he learns about the baby and even tries to push for an abortion. Stay tuned because this soap opera isn't over yet.
My aunt ended up taking me. I get to the hospital, they like, just so we suspect that you pregnant. I thought it was a joke. I'm like, this is the day before April Fool's Day. Why are you playing? I was 4 months and 3 days. The middle of April, I found out. I started messing with Bert the second week of December. I hadn't been with nobody since October.
And then after that time, you ended the relationship.
I left him June 28th. I
And
moved all my stuff out
at that
and went to a
point,
shelter.
was he accepting the child? Was he saying?
No, told me he didn't want the baby.
You won't believe this twist. From their meet cute at the store to setting up a love nest, Ms. Russell narrates their saga that suddenly soured when Mr. Richardson refused to accept the baby. Just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, hold on to your seats. There's more drama ahead.
I met Bert at the store. He was with a dude that I grew up. Probably about a week later, me and him ended up talking on the phone. From that point on, we was together almost every day. A month after I met him, I found out he was living with another female, a 21-year-old girl that was his girlfriend.
And so the bottom line is you met, and you started a sexual relationship.
Yes.
After you started talking.
Correct.
Suspicion that he could be married?
Not at all.
Here's a curveball for you. After Mr. Richardson passed away, Ms. Hill, the paternal grandma, finds herself in a DNA testing saga. The results? Inconclusive. Now everyone's more confused than ever. Don't go anywhere. The next revelation is just around the corner.
After my son had passed away, there was a letter came through the mail. It said for child support. I opened it up because my son is dead. So I opened it up and seen for child support. I called the people. My son is dead. So what is this all about? Since he dead, we need a DNA test did on you. When the paperwork came back, it was inconclusive.
Things are heating up. Ms. Russell is all in, pushing for a DNA test to get some closure. She's determined to prove her side of the story, and you can feel the tension rising in the courtroom. Keep watching because you're not going to believe what happens next.
When you got the results and they said they were inconclusive,
I didn't know what the problem could have been because, again, I know who I was with.
But I'm the one pushing this. I want closure. I got doubt because someone on their deathbed saying, no, don't know what to believe. I'm here today to
That
find
man
out.
went all the way,
I want
all the way
to
6
tell
feet
me.
under with all his lies.
The moment of truth. DNA results time. And boom, it's confirmed.
Ms. Hill and Mr. Richardson Sr. are related to Alasia Richardson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's all we want.
That's all we wanted.
I don't lie about nothing. I'm too grown for that.
Well, we going by what my husband said, and as a wife, that was my duty.
Just when you thought court shows couldn't get any spicier, here comes Jerome with the case intro. The episode opens with the court clerk, Jerome, introducing the case of Young V's Terrell Patton. Judge Lake greets the participants and the audience, setting the stage for the dispute with a friendly, hello. Seriously, grab your popcorn because you're not going to want to miss what happens next.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Young versus Terrell Patton.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Young, you and your daughter are here in court today to prove that your deceased common law husband, Johnny Wallace, did not cheat on you with Ms. Terrell and father her daughter, Miss Patton.
Hold on to your seats, folks. Ms. Young is about to drop a bombshell in the courtroom. She presents her claim assertively, stating her goal to prove that Johnny Wallace, her deceased common law husband, did not father Ms. Terrell's daughter, Miss Patton. She's also aiming to claw back over $12,000 in Social Security benefits that Miss Patton received after his death. Buckle up, because the drama is just ramping up.
You say once the results prove he is not Miss Patton's father, you will sue to recoup all of the Social Security benefits from Miss Patton that she wrongfully received after his death, totaling over $12,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things are heating up. Ms. Terrell steps up with a fiery defense, asserting that Mr. Wallace acknowledged her daughter, though she chose to keep her child away from his tumultuous lifestyle. She expresses her hope for her daughter to be accepted by Mr. Wallace's family once her paternity is confirmed. Oh, the irony. Stick around, because the judge's next questions are real doozies.
You say Mr. Wallace never denied your daughter, but it was you who chose to separate your daughter from Mr. Wallace's crazy lifestyle. You claim that once the DNA test proves you right, you want your daughter, Miss Patton, to be accepted by the Wallace family. Is that correct?
Yes.
The plot thickens. As Judge Lake dives into the history, Young details how she first heard about Miss Patton possibly being one of Mr. Wallace's children. It turns out her first clue was from a Social Security letter, not from Mr. Wallace himself. A twist right out of a soap opera. What comes next? You guessed it. More eyebrow-raising revelations.
Jury is still out on that one. I never found out. All I know is that I've known him since I was a teenager. We lived together. He's my daughter's father. And I never knew of Kaisha being his daughter, and still don't to this day. I found out when my kids started getting Social Security, and then a few months after that, I got a letter from Social Security indicating that someone was applying for Kaisha.
Just when you thought it was safe to breathe, Ms. Terrell throws another curveball. She confirms that Mr. Wallace recognized her daughter and sheds some light on his complicated romantic entanglements. The audience's reaction? Audible gasps, and probably some eye-rolling at home. Don't go anywhere. The emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
You say that Mr. Wallace acknowledged your daughter?
Yes.
And his family?
Yes. Me and Mr. Wallace was going with each other. We was together every day. We would go out.
Did you know he was in a relationship with Ms. Young?
He had other baby mamas. He was around with all of them.
Grab your tissues, because things are about to get teary. Miss Patton recounts a poignant and somewhat awkward memory of meeting Mr. Wallace, who abruptly confirmed he was her dad in a fleeting encounter. This bittersweet moment leaves everyone, including Miss Patton, with more questions than answers. And guess what? The emotional revelations are far from over.
And it kind of went back and forth, and he was like, well, I'll talk to you later. I gotta go. Took care of some other stuff around the house, and then he shortly left after that.
He left the house, and you were still there. That encounter, and the way you remember it is, it's amazing, actually. Just a young girl, 8 years old, having that kind of encounter. Did you ever hear about Miss Patton?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
What did you hear?
One day, Mom said, no, Kaisha's supposed to be your sister.
Cue the dramatic music, because Ms. Terrell is not holding back. She discusses the circumstances of her pregnancy with Miss Patton, including Mr. Wallace's reaction and his family's involvement, which only adds layers to the already complicated story. If you thought the courtroom was tense before, just wait until you hear what's coming.
I was a virgin when I first met Johnny Wallace. Me and him used to hang out. He used to come to my mother's house. I used to go to his grandmother's house.
Okay, listen. What I'm trying to find out is when you found out you were pregnant, did you say to him, I'm I'm pregnant?
No, his sister already told him.
She went to the family and told him that she was pregnant. He gave her money to have an abortion, and she did away the money however she see fit.
Ever wondered how courtroom drama mixes with bureaucratic snafus? Well, you're about to find out. Judge Lake probes into how Miss Patton was deemed eligible for Social Security benefits amidst all the paternity doubts. This segment highlights not just the emotional, but also the procedural chaos surrounding the case. Brace yourselves, because the plot is about to thicken even more.
My great-grandmother said that when they called her and asked her, did she know anything about Kaisha and could she be the daughter? She said, I know Kaisha. Johnny said he gave her mother money at one point to get an abortion. She think that they went shopping with the money. I wasn't there, but that's what she said. She told Social Security.
The atmosphere is electric as Jerome approaches with the envelope. The moment of truth arrives as Jerome hands Judge Lake the envelope with the DNA test results, and the entire courtroom holds its breath in anticipation. The family ties, the money, the drama, it all comes down to this. You definitely won't want to miss the reaction to these results.
It has been determined by this court, Miss Patton and Miss Stapleton, you are not related.
Already knew it.
All right.